I don't want to give up my combustion engine. I don't want to give up what a combustion engine motorcycle gives to me as a motorcyclist, you know. And a combustion engine ticks more boxes than this bike will ever tick. But, and it is a but, good morning YouTube and the metaverse and beyond. Wow, what a bloody lovely day. Bloody lovely. Can you hear that? The birds are singing. So, thank you for joining me today. For anybody else that's never clicked on one of my videos and been here before, welcome and hello to you all. My name is Lee. I am a 54-year-old development test rider. I would say on a part-time basis, but it's been a long winter. And I seem to have been back on a bike for quite a few months in between events. So today, I'd like to do a nice review for you on, can you hear it? Yeah, you got it. It's an electric bike. And I bet already there's people clicking off the video and putting in the comments how much they hate electric. But bear with me. So, as ever, it will be a brutally honest review because, do you know what? My integrity is all I have. And being a development test rider, it's always about giving the engineers and the companies a shit sandwich. What's good, what's bad. And I'd pretty much like to bring that to YouTube. YouTube is my hobby. YouTube is something I enjoy to do for my mental health. And so I'll apologise now to anybody at LiveWire that doesn't like some of my comments, what I'm going to say about this motorcycle. But you know what? It's the goddamn truth. And that's what development is all about. You know, if you can't take the good with the bad and the bad with the good, well, you're never going to develop a motorcycle better than one you've already got. And unfortunately, there is far too much bullshit on YouTube as it is. But that's it. That's enough said. So, let's get back to the bike in hand. Well, I am on the beautiful LiveWire Del Mar S2, which is LiveWire's second bike that they built after the LiveWire one. And ironically, I was the event manager in 2023 that launched this bike in Barcelona, and it was an amazing launch. And it was one that showcased to me how much I actually know about being an event manager. And it was a successful launch, and the press had a really good time, and everybody was happy and everybody was safe. So roll on to 2026, and here I am riding one of these beautiful Del Mars. Now, I get electric is not for everybody, but for me, a motorcycle, no matter what it is, will tick a box. And it would be very hard, I think, to find a motorcycle that would do absolutely everything. Unfortunately for electric, it doesn't tick many boxes. And but the boxes it does tick, that's where it excels. And for me, this bike is a city dominator. Oh, this is the bike. If you live in a city and you just want to dominate those city streets and have a commuting experience that, you know, a combustion engine just won't get near. And you might not want to hear that, but it won't. A combustion engine it can't compete with an electric bike in a city environment. It really can't. And we'll get into why in a little while when we get to the city. But for now, we're out in the sticks on this beautiful bike on a beautiful day. And what I will say is, damn, this thing is quick. Oh my god, this thing is quick. So 0 to 60 in 3 seconds or thereabouts. I reckon with a good start, you know, you might shave a millisecond off that, but 3 seconds is damn quick, and it gets there so smooth and so linear, because that's what electric is. No gears, it's just a constant drive, a constant throttle from closed to open. And to be fair, it depends how brave you are to how quick you open it. Originally I'd ridden the LiveWire 1, and I really liked that bike. The looks, the fact that it got fast charging on, but at £32,000 at the time, after that point, the LiveWire Del Mar S2 was born, and I get the inspiration behind it. It is that street bike, flat tracker sort of essence to it, but I just don't get the wheel configuration, and I don't get why they went that way. Now, they've developed this bike really well. On some things, I just have to ask myself the question, and that's why. Why did you go down that route? And the wheel configuration is one of them. So with a 19 on the front and a 19 on the back, and they're big chunky 19s as well, this bike just becomes very slow to turn in the twisties. Feels very clumsy. And on a dry day, that's not too bad. You can sort of fight it and you get used to it, and you sort of have to adapt your riding to ride this bike quick through the twisties. On a wet day, it's so unnerving. It really is. I mean, I think this bike on 17s would have been an absolute slayer of the road. It would just slay the bends. But in this wheel configuration, yeah, and I don't really get it. I think they went for more for aesthetics than they did for functionality. I think the market and the motorcycle community still aren't ready for electric motorbikes, but hey, you let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Because it doesn't tick enough boxes for people to commit to. You know, like I say, I think there's a motorbike that does everything. There's a touring motorbike, a commuting motorbike, a pub motorbike, you know, and we all try and tick as many of those boxes in the motorcycles that we own. You know, we want a bike that we can go to the pub on, but we also want a bike that we can commute to work on, and at the end of the day, when we've got a bit of time off, we'd like to go touring on. And I think across the board, that is the essence of motorcycling for a lot of us. But like I say, for that city commuter, there isn't a combustion engine out there for me that will beat this bike in the city. At 100% claims to give you 113 miles. Now, I'm going to tell you at the end of this video exactly what this bike will do, how many miles you will get, and even at a constant motorway speed of 70 miles an hour, I will shock you, absolutely shock you with what this bike will deliver. So I'm going to ride this route. It took me about an hour and 45 minutes, and it's approximately 56 miles. And as you can see, I'm at 100%. Well, I'm not. I'm at 98% now, and I've got 112 miles left. So, like I say, at the end of this video, we'll see exactly where we are with that. Now, this route does comprise of a bit of everything, really. A bit of twisty stuff. There's a little bit of fast national speed limit roads. There's a little bit of motorway, which will then take me into the city. And I will finish the route off in the city, and yeah, we'll see what she will deliver. But like I say, I've got a shocker at the end. I did a test on this bike to see from 100% charge, and I set the cruise control at 70 miles an hour, and I did that until I got the battery down to 20%. So can anybody in the comments tell me how many miles do you think I got at a constant speed of 70 miles an hour on cruise control from 100% battery to 20%, you tell me in the comments below. And I think you'll be quite shocked at the end of this video to what this bike actually achieved. That throttle is so smooth, so linear. And that's one bonus, one beautiful thing about electric. Not only that, the fact that you can just absorb your surroundings, you know. Absolutely bloody lovely today. And with the LiveWire, they've definitely put some premium parts on it, you know. You've got Brembo brakes, you've got Showa upside down forks, and you've got a Showa rear monoshock. Going back to the brakes, I very rarely use them because the regen on the LiveWire, on full power regen, is so good. It is a braking system in its own right, you know. It brings back what would be your engine braking on a combustion bike, and more so. It also has force regen, where you can roll the throttle right forward when you close it, and that will activate full regen. Now, I prefer that because it's giving me the regen when I want it, rather than just letting off and it does it for you. Because for me, you know, if you're coming into a bend and you're coming in a little bit hot and you let off, it will over brake for you. It won't brake or trail brake as I want it to. Whereas with force regen, that regen will only come in if I roll the throttle forward. So for me, I prefer the forced regen over the regen that it will give you if you set it to full regen. And to be fair, I can't see any power differences between forced regen and the regen that the bike will give you. Ergonomically, do you know what? She's a comfortable bike to sit on. She really is. There you go, see, no brakes. I'm just on regen. So yeah, the Brembos very rarely get used. They're more of a secondary emergency brake now, as the regen is so efficient bringing the bike or slowing the bike down. And like I say, with force regen, I like that because it's giving me that when I ask for it, not just when I close the throttle. Like I say, she will bimble about. But then should you see that side? Oh, she just takes off. And even from a steady state throttle, she will pretty much just instant pickup. Which, when it comes to overtakes and manoeuvres that you need to get out of the way, and a little bit of speed, a little bit of poke, she will give you it in abundance. Do I miss the sound of that roaring engine as you throttle it on? Yeah, I'm not going to lie, part of me does, you know. I am a combustion engine man, but I'm not the petrol head I thought I was. Because what I've realised is I'm a two-wheel junkie as long as I'm not the engine. But on different occasions, for different reasons, I'm not bothered what the powertrain is, as long as I'm going to have a little bit of fun. And this bike definitely can be a little bit of fun, because when you want it, oh yeah, it's there. So this bike is a little bit like Jekyll and Hyde, you know. It's very quiet, very sedate, and then all of a sudden, with the twist of a throttle, it becomes an absolute demon, a slayer of the vehicles.
So here we have it, the beautiful Harley-Davidson LiveWire, or as it is, LiveWire now. It's still owned by Harley-Davidson, but they've separated that company and it's become its own entity, which is LiveWire. Do you know what? I think they did a really good job with it. Yes, there's certain things I don't like, and we'll run through them. So what I will say about the LiveWire is, do you know what? It's a beautiful engineered bike. You can really see the attention to detail on some of the things that they did with this. From the pins that hold on the pillion pegs, they've got little push-in knobbles on the end that, you know, push it in, pull it out, no circlips. And then there's a few things I just don't like. You know, the two nipples on the tank. It's like, it's such an afterthought. They could have been hidden under the seat. It could have looked seamless. Instead, they went for these horrible mouldings where you can see the two hex screws in the top. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like the switch gear. It wasn't very well placed. It's very fussy and clumsy, and the indicators don't feel natural. The buttons don't feel natural, and every button just seems misplaced. It really wasn't thought about. So yeah, there was lots of little things that just, as time has gone on, has bugged me. But the biggest one is the wheel configuration. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I get aesthetically, it sort of gives the bike a quirky look. Rideability, 19-inch wheels front and back on chunky tyres, and their LiveWire tyres. They actually had these tyres made themselves for themselves, which is not a cheap thing to do. You know, to have a tyre mould made purely to make your own tyres is an expensive way to go. I think if they'd have put 17 inches on this bike, yes, aesthetically, they might not have got the look that they were looking for, but the bike would be an absolute weapon. It would handle so much better. But that said, I think what you get with a LiveWire is a well-engineered bike that's got quality to it, and for an electric motorcycle, yeah, I like it. Well, I won't bore you with all the specs on this bike. As ever, I will put them in the description underneath this video if you really truly want to go and look at everything about the LiveWire. So this is a 2025 model. It's done just over 2,000 miles now. So it's a permanent magnetic electric motor. It kicks out about 84 HP. Torque is pretty impressive. Torque sits at 194 pound, which is approximately 263 Newton meters, and you just know you've got it when you roll that throttle on. The torque is just immense. You can really feel it. They claim it to do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and I got to say, it wouldn't surprise me with the wind behind you. You could actually better that and get a little bit quicker, because she does shift. She really does. Top speed is 103, and they capped it at that. Battery capacity is a 10.5 kilowatt. There's no DC fast charging on the S2 platform, which will be a level 2 charger. Approximately from 20% to 100%. I've had it done in 2 hours, and you just plug it in the side port on the side of this bike. If you do it with the charger that comes with the bike, which is the level 1 110 volt charger, you're looking at about 8 to 9 hours from 20% to get a full charge in this bike.
She's so linear off the throttle. Slow manoeuvring is just sublime. And other key elements like how quiet it is. You can hear your environment around you, you know, which in a city environment is pretty damn important, because I'm telling you now, you're not only looking out for idiots driving cars, pedestrians that look with their ears and not their eyes, but you're also looking out for mass bandits that want to rob you, you know, whether it be nicking your phone or trying to nick your bike. And that's the beautiful thing about electric. I can hear everything that is going on around me. And the other bonus, and I didn't realise it until I showcased this bike in Barcelona, and it was actually this bike that sort of showcased to me what electric is all about. Because Barcelona is a beautiful city, there's no doubt about it, you know, but it's bloody hot. It was bloody hot there when we did the launch. And I mean, today it's now, what we're on 69 Fahrenheit, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be 26, 27, maybe 28 degrees today in the UK. I know. How strange is that in itself? But the beautiful thing about electric is there's no heat off this bike at all, you know. I never sweat. I never get agitated. I never get angry. I'm always calm. I'm always collected, because it's such a comfortable motorcycle to be riding through a city. Because, you know, the normal things that will wind you up because you're hot, you're sweaty, you just want to get moving, you just want to get going. And unfortunately, in a city environment, that's not always the case. That's not always what you can do. And that's where electric motorcycles really do dominate the city, because there is no heat, there is no noise, they're stealthy, you know. I'm not going to lie, I find myself when I'm riding an electric motorcycle through the city, I'm always being naughty, shall we say, because nobody can hear me being naughty. Now, I can hear a combustion engine motorcycle in the city coming for miles, and as you know, most car drivers that don't like our way of life, shall we say, don't like the fact that we don't have to sit in traffic a lot of the times, they'll go above and beyond to try and block you and stop you and just make life hard work, you know. And on this, you're so quiet, you can just sort of sneak around people. They don't even know you've done it until you've done it. And I quite like that stealthy aspect of electric motorcycles. You know, it's the fact that, yeah, I am very stealthy. It's exactly this environment. All of a sudden, this motorcycle makes sense. It really does. You know, the regen makes sense because you constantly stop, start. So it's constantly maintaining your battery. It's constantly just putting that, you know, a little bit back in, or just helping to maintain it for a little bit longer. Like I say, no heat. It's easy to ride. It's quiet. It's nimble. Can hear all my surroundings. I feel like I'm whispering because, you know what, it's such a quiet environment to be in. And, well, you know, it's just a beautiful place to be. Oof, Mr. Bus Driver jumping red lights. I mean, dearie me, he's supposed to be a professional driver. Very scary. See, city environments. It doesn't matter where they are, what they drive. There's an idiot right around the corner sat next to you. I mean, look. Not one of them cars got to the white line. But this is the other thing I love about this motorcycle. Is the fact that when they get the green to go, oh, I go. And they're just a distant memory in my mirrors. Because 0 to 30. Well, that's pretty damn quick. And I haven't had anything yet. Nothing. Nada. Not a thing. Beat me off the lights. So not only stealthy, but damn quick around these city streets. And that's where, like I say, this bike makes sense. It is a street bike. It was designed to be a street bike. It wasn't designed to be a tourer. You know, if you live in a city, well, this bike is the perfect commuter. It really is. There you go, look. Just a distant memory. Beautiful thing about Coventry is motorcycles can go in the bus lane. There's nothing they can do about it. It's very quiet in Coventry this morning. It's a Friday today, so I mean yesterday I came through Coventry and bloody hell it was rammed. Yet again, no brakes. Just let the regen slow yourself down for the situation that you're in. You know, she's as lovely and as easy to ride at 20 mile an hour as she is at 60 mile an hour. I don't want to give up my combustion engine. I don't want to give up what a combustion engine motorcycle gives to me as a motorcyclist, you know. And a combustion engine ticks more boxes than this bike will ever tick. But, and it is a but, if I needed to tick a box because I lived in a city and I wanted the best commuting bike I could possibly have, I would go electric. I really would. There wouldn't. I couldn't even second guess. I would go electric because of all the benefits and the perks and the way that this bike is. It dominates the city. This bike dominates this city. There's nothing in this city apart from a little shit on an electric Furon with goggles and a balaclava on that's going to dominate this city more. And that's why I would opt for electric. I don't live in a city and I don't commute in a city, but I can see the attraction and I can see why you would go down the electric route for that reason. Yes, it doesn't tick. I can't tour on it comfortably of a distance, you know. Yes, I can go to the pub on it, commute on it. Yes, it's a commuter, you know. But in a city environment, there's nothing else will beat this bike. And if you can charge at work, do you know what? All of a sudden, your commuting just got very cheap, especially with the price of fuel. Doesn't matter how many times I see that building. Absolutely love it. Full of idiots. It's, you know, that's Coventry Town or Council, you know, it's full of idiots, but it's a beautiful building. Never gets old. That never gets old. Love it. It's just instant joy. That's what I'm going to call it. That right hand is instant joy.
So with the price of these bikes dramatically falling from what the original price was of £17,500, this one was picked up for just over £8,000 and brand new, no miles on it. I think if you could pick one of these up for that money, then you've grabbed yourself a bargain, especially if you live in a city and you need the perfect commuter that's going to be cheap, fast, quick, reliable. Then do you know what? Go and grab yourself a LiveWire. So I did a test to represent motorway mileage on a bank track in a controlled environment, and I did this test last December. The day was about 10 degrees. It wasn't the warmest of days. I had the parameters set to sport mode, full regen, and I basically went from 100% battery, claimed 113 miles. I entered the track, I set the speed to 70 mile an hour on cruise control, and I stayed on that track till I got down to 20%. And all I could achieve at that point in miles, it blew my mind away, it really did, was 26 miles. That's all I got. Roll on to this week. I thought I'll repeat that test because the weather's warmer now, it's nicer. Let's see if it gives me any more, based on the fact that batteries seem to work better in warmer conditions. So I did the same test, and lo and behold, yes, I did up the mileage. I managed to get 36 miles out of that battery from a constant 70 mile an hour on cruise control. I recharged the bike, let it cool down, and then I decided to try it at 55 miles an hour, set the cruise control, 100% battery, and all I could achieve was 56 miles. So to answer the question, for me, no, this bike is no good for touring. It just hasn't got the range, hasn't got the capability, and it takes nearly 2 hours to charge it. So to do on a motorway at 70 mile an hour, you're only going to get, at best, on a warm day, 36 miles range. If you sit at 55 mile an hour on an A road, you're pretty much going to get 55, 56 miles. And that is it. So it definitely isn't a touring bike. So today I've done 55 miles. It is lovely, it's beautiful, it's a warm day. I've had it in sports mode with full regen on. I achieved 55 miles with 35% of battery left, which, to be fair, I don't think is too bad for a bike that you're going to commute on in the city. You know, I was riding it for nearly an hour and 40 minutes. I did 55 miles. Now, if that was my daily commute round trip in a city, I would still have plenty left in the tank. So I think it ticks that box of being the perfect city commuter. Just don't go touring on it, because you'll only get 26 miles if you're on the motorway. That's it. I'm going to end there. Thank you very much for joining me today. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, whatever they may be. And that subscribe button, give us a big thumbs up. Help me grow. That would be lovely. I'd like to say, because then they will start throwing bikes at me to review, but maybe my honesty will be my Achilles heel. Maybe my honesty will be too refreshing for YouTube, where they just won't give me bikes to review because they'll be scared of what I'm going to say. But at the end of the day, my integrity is all I've got. So, like I say, thank you very much for joining me today. As ever, stay safe out there.
My biker buddy, oh, he's bloody stuck in Coventry. It's either rainy or it's sunny, on the run, trying to keep his life intact. He's lost the ability to relax. Yeah, it's fact. If you're from here, you know he's dodging potholes in his undercrackers. If you see him, take a photo, wave, because he's dodging potholes in his undercrackers. My biker buddy trying to stay